Hey, love. So you got to know the first step in order to build your confidence. You got to know where to start, right? So welcome to Magnificent Monday with Queen A. Today we're going to be talking about the first step in building your confidence, right? So the reason why this step is so important because it's the step that most people skip over, right? Most people just look around nowadays, right? Look on social media. And I'm talking about, it don't matter what social media platform you're looking at. We talking about TikTok, Facebook, right? Instagram. It don't matter. YouTube. Just look around. What's happening is we are looking at a society that has grown to be uncomfortable with themselves, meaning that they're lacking confidence. And the reason why they're lacking confidence is because they don't know the first step. The step that I'm going to teach y'all today in order for you to build your confidence, right? And without this step, I mean, you just can't grow. That's just the bottom line, right? I mean, ain't no sugarcoating it. Y'all know Queen A don't sugarcoat. Just sum it up. You can't grow. All right, so that is one of the things we're going to talk about here. And I can just remember, y'all remember when y'all was young, right? Sometimes you want to fit in with the crowd. And I remember that. Like, sometimes I want to, I want to be like them. But then I get over there and it's like, hold up, this ain't what I want to do, right? It's like, I don't want to do this. I start saying no to this and doing this. And, so I had to start tweaking and doing stuff your own way. But first, when you get a teenager, especially when you first start going outside, what happens? Or especially, let's go to high school. We go to high school. Guess what? You go in school, you think you fresh, but then maybe you don't got on the right pair of shoes, right? And if you was anything like Queen A, I wasn't raised with parents I wasn't raised with a silver spoon. So I can remember going to school one time with imitation Jordans, right? And I remember being so embarrassed. Any of y'all ever had that experience? I'm sorry. Any of y'all ever had that experience? Y'all see me say I'm sorry to the board. Y'all see that? Y'all know I'm crazy. But have y'all ever had that experience where your parents was like, and my dad, he was making money, but he was not materialistic. Like, he's still not materialistic. So he was like, I remember I was getting in trouble. He was like, oh, you want to get in trouble? You want to look like a clown? So you're going to be a clown. So he bought me these shoes. He asked me what pair of shoes I wanted. I showed him some Jordans. So I guess he done went to the store and seen some imitation Jordans. And then bought them and brought them to me. So, first I get the box. I'm like, I'm excited. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, my confidence is high. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to be stepping. I got one of these Jordans. And then I opened the box. I'll never forget. And I looked in the box. And have y'all ever did this? Like, you get a Christmas present. You like, yeah, I want it. You look at it, you open it, unwrap it or something. And you look at it, you like, you stuck, right? Because you don't want to be unappreciative, but it's like all the confidence just drops right out of you, right? So in that moment, all my confidence just dropped because I noticed in that moment that I didn't have the Jordans, right? I didn't have the Ortons. I didn't have nothing close to the Jordans. I had the imitations, right? Well, I guess you can't say Ortons, but I had the imitations. And it was like, for me at that moment, for a 12 and 13-year-old, that was like one of the worst moments of my life. So I can remember when I was going to school, and nowadays kids say, what are those? But back in our days, the kids didn't say what are those, right? I'm in my 40s, so the kids didn't say what are those. So they would just point and laugh, and I can remember being so embarrassed that the confidence that I had built up that I was so excited about when I thought I had them Jordans, I can remember all the confidence just draining out of me. I was so embarrassed. I didn't even want to walk around in school no more. So what I started doing was, after that day, because my dad, he wasn't buying the Jordans. They costed too much for him, and he could afford them, but he was not paying for them. So after that day, I can remember wearing some black USA house shoes to school. And if you went to school in Midwest Side, you probably seen me with the USA house shoes, black ones on, right? If you remember. And that's what I stepped in. And I was just so comfortable in my house shoes. But my confidence had lacked so much because I had seen all these other kids in Jordans and seen all these other kids coming in with all this materialistic stuff. And, I'm sitting up there, confidence gone. Because the one time I thought I was like, yeah, I'm about to give me these Jordans. And remind you, now I'm not even a Jordan girl. But maybe that's why I'm not. I never thought about that. But, but I'm not a Jordan girl now. I'm like Air Maxes. But In that moment, I lacked my confidence. And I say all that to say this. The reason why I had lacked my moment is that my confidence in that time, because I had built up momentum, right? I was about to get these Jordans, right? And then I had a false perception, because what happened in that moment when I thought I was getting Jordans, right? I was just happy because I knew everybody else at the school was going to have them. So the thing I want to talk to y'all about is the first step in you overcoming or building your confidence is learning what situations, what real life situations that you're dealing with. What I call the LWRS system, right? Living with real life situations, right? So living with real situations. One thing I was living with in that time that I can identify with now, which I didn't identify with then, I didn't understand why I lacked confidence. Because in that time, the real situation that I was dealing with was I wanted something that everybody else had instead of being grateful for what my father was able to do for me and what he felt like I needed and the values that he instilled in me, right? The real life situations that I was dealing with at the time was, going to school and having this thing that just because everybody else did something that, I needed to step like that. I needed to have on them shoes, right? That was the real life situation I was dealing with. Had I been able to identify that at that time, I could have said, hold on, Ariel. You just want to wear the Jordans because most of the people in the school gonna wear Jordans? Like, girl, no. Find you some cheaper shoes that you really like, because I never was a Jordan girl, right? There's some shoes that I really like. Forget what everybody else is wearing. And guess what? It's cheaper. I probably get like 2 of them because they cheaper, right? And I'ma like them. I'll like them. Forget what everybody else doing. Forget what the environment doing. Queen A will like them, right? Which I wasn't going by Queen A at that time, but Queen A liked them. So the first step in you learning how to build your confidence, the first step in you growing, right? And hey, loves, if y'all out there, if y'all listening, make sure y'all put some hellos, heys there, give me some hearts, some likes, do some, throw a thumbs up, like whoop whoop, put some of that in there, whatever you thought. Nah, but just let me know y'all here, right? And throw it in the chat, let me know where y'all watching from, right? So wherever y'all watching from, I don't care if it's Arizona, Cincinnati, wherever y'all watching from, I love y'all. Thank y'all for joining me right here, right? So, the one thing I want to talk to y'all about is in order for you to build your confidence, the first step that you must do, you can't skip this step, is you have to identify what situations that you're living with. What real situations are you dealing with that's keeping you from being confident, right? Meaning, what I mean by that, are you dealing with a situation where you're looking online all the time, right? And maybe you need to put your phone down because you're constantly looking online and you see everybody else living this lifestyle. You think that you're supposed to be living that lifestyle instead of you appreciating your journey. And if that's the case, then maybe you need to put your phone down, right? Or are you living with real life situations where you're telling people who are like meaningless, who have no, don't want to see you grow. You're telling them your goals and your vision, and you're not getting the feedback, or you're not getting anything back from that, or any excitement or motivation from that. Then guess what? That's a situation. Maybe you need to remove yourself from them. But a lot of times when our confidence drops, like you like, man, you don't have confidence in that business, right? You like, I was so amped up when I thought about it in my head, but then you go out there, you start talking to people, and then you get somebody like, you can't do that. What? You want to make a car that flat? You would never do that. Right? You feel me? What? You want to do this? You want to make a book that to talk to people? You would never do that. Right? You run into them people, then what happens? What happens? Your confidence drops. So in that moment, the situation that you're living, the real situation that you're dealing with is speaking or being around people who are not even, how some people say, we ain't on the same page. I like to tell people sometimes, forget the same page. Sometimes people ain't even in your book. So sometimes you have to know that your environment is the real situation that you're dealing with. The people that you're speaking to is the real situation that you're dealing with. Maybe you had death in your family, right? And you just don't understand why your confidence has dropped. Maybe you have lost like a grandma or a mother or an uncle or a sister or somebody that was near and dear to your heart. Like me, I lost my oldest son. So a lot of times, especially around December, around my birthday, because I'm sharing this with you all, But for you all that don't know me, I lost my son right before my birthday, right? So the day before my birthday, I lost my oldest son. So I lost a lot of confidence in a lot of things back then because that was the situation that I was dealing with. So let me just tell y'all this. Me, my aunt, and my cousin was all pregnant at the same time. I was the only one who lost my child. So right there in that moment, that was the situation that I was dealing with. I lost my child and they didn't. And I had to sit there and watch these other children grow up, which is my cousins, right? I had to watch them grow up, love them to death, right? But it always reminds me that my son is not here. So that in order for me to grow and build my confidence from that, I had to hold on, let me sit and think why is it certain times around this year, or why, every time I see them, why do I get a little aggravated or frustrated? Then I had to identify, hold up, that's why. Because I had to come to terms with, every time I see them, I associate my son passing away. So I had to overcome that, right? That was a situation I had to deal with. And I had to manage that and get over that. But it was precautions and steps I had to take to do that. And that is what I teach in my Each One Motivates One program, right? I teach you how to take the steps to grow, take the steps to overcome, right? Take the steps, right, to identify. Because you have to identify. You can't grow without identify, right? You can't get into an argument with somebody and apologize, but you ain't identified the problem. That doesn't make no sense. Guess what's going to happen? Y'all won't get into it again, right? So it's the same thing with building your confidence. You can't try to build your confidence and then not identify what caused you to lack confidence in the first place. Because something made you lack confidence, whether it was a person, whether it was a thing, an experience, but something that went on in your lifetime caused you to lose contact, right? To lose confidence in yourself. So these are the things that I help teach. These are the things that I help bring out. I help you overcome. I help you learn and bring that out. Because a lot of us, we don't think about that. We just man, I'm building confidence. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But you haven't even took the first step. You haven't even sat down and really thought about why you feel that or what caused you to lack the confidence in the first place. So in our Each One Motivates One program, that is the first thing we have you do. The first thing we have you do is learn to identify what real life situations you're dealing with. That's why I call it the LWRS situations. What situations are you living with, right? Because you're living with real situations. Everyone is living with real situations, which is what causes you to lose confidence. Okay? So that is the thing y'all have to understand. That's the thing y'all have to take away, right? And if you want to join my Each One Motivates One community, you're like, what she keep talking about, the Each One Motivates One community? Yes, join the community, right? So I have a free platform, right? Yes, I have a paid version, but the free platform on Facebook will be taken off. I know I've been getting that together. But if you want to join that, hit add me and I'll add you to that, right? And we'll get more in depth. We'll get more in the Facebook group. Not only are you surrounded by a community where we're going to help and grow and build each other up, but you will also get more in depth with the steps. We'll get more in depth with certain things, right? We'll go over a lot more. Okay? Just in case anybody's wondering. All right? So that is one of the things I wanted to talk to y'all about. Because I always stress building confidence. I'm building confidence. A lot of people say, they want to help you overcome things. They want to help you become a better you, right? Which is what I do. I help you become a better you. But in order for me to help you become a better you, one thing that I need for you all to understand is, first thing we have to do is, and it's uncomfortable for a lot of people, we have to sit down and pull out what real life situations that you're dealing with, right? Because you're living with real situations. What real situations are you living with? How can I help you pull that out, right? And I know for a lot of people, like I said, some people might not, and you might not want to tell me, that's fine. Even if you have to put it on a piece of paper, as long as you understand it, as long as you know for yourself, right? If you know and you can understand for yourself, that is all that matters. So you don't have to let me know, because it could be it could be something personal to you, like trauma. You right? For as it could be something like, well, you're like, hey, I want to, I've been, maybe you've been raped, or maybe, you somebody, you've been going through a domestic violence relationship, or, you're not uncomfortable and you're not comfortable talking about that. Maybe you had a family member, touch on you, or things like that can destroy your confidence level, right? So if it's things like that, I can totally understand if you're like, hey, you know what, Queen A, just talk to me and say, hey, you know what, if you're in my Each One Motivates One community, especially if you're in my paid program, if you're doing that, guess what? You don't have to tell me. But I need for you to write it down and understand what's causing you to lose confidence. Because something you went through, something that you're living with, right? Some real situation is in there. We got to pull it out in order to even get to the next step, right? We can't get to the next step. We can't get to 2, 3, and 4, right? We can't, that's in anything, right? We can't even get to $2 if we don't have one. You can't skip $1 and just say, you know what, and get another dollar and say, I got $2. It don't work like that. Where's the other dollar? So this is the same thing when we're building confidence. You can't want to grow, but you don't want to identify. Right? Just like when you go to the NA and AA programs, what they do? First thing they have you do is what? They have you identify what put you in those situations, right? It's the same thing when you're building your confidence. Newsflash, if ain't nobody told you. All right, so I just hope y'all got something from that. Like I said, today's live is very special to me. And hey, loves. So if y'all want to be a part of my Each One Motivates One free community on Facebook, I have a free group. Simply say, come and add me, and I'll go ahead and add you to the free group on Facebook. And that is where we come together. We'll help bridge our gap, and we'll build each other, learn from each other, grow from each other, right? But don't forget, the first step in building your confidence is what I call the LWRS system. Identify that you're living with real situations. And then, which ones are you living with? What caused that? Right? So the situations that you're living with is causing you to lose confidence. Somewhere down the line, a situation that you went through with somebody or something caused you to lack confidence, okay? So I hope y'all got something from that. So if you you want to understand and you really want to know how to build your confidence and you want to take that first step, you don't even need me. Go ahead, pull out a piece of paper, write down, sit down and really think about everything you're frustrated about, right? So write down your frustrations and everything that you lack confidence in. And then on the other side of that, I want you to really sit down and think about every situation, what made you lack that confidence. So if you're scared to speak, what happened that made you scared to speak, right? Are you not comfortable with people? Did a situation happen where you're scared to speak? Or, anything. I don't care what it is. I'm just using that for an example, right? So anything in life, whatever it is, what made you feel like that? What got you to that point? Why are you lacking confidence in yourself? Even if it's I don't think I look pretty. What happened to make you feel like you don't look pretty, that you need to go get a butt implant, that you need to go get breast implants, that you need to go get your lip injected? What made you feel like that? Did somebody look at you the wrong way? Did you have a situation where maybe you walked in a room and somebody just looked at you funny? Was somebody talking about you? What happened? But it's something, or did you look in the mirror? Did you look in the mirror one day and not like what you seen? But some situation made you feel like that. All right? So that's what I want y'all to do. That's my homework for y'all, is to go, if you're trying to build your confidence, the first thing I want you to do is identify what situations that's real that you're living with, okay? Write it down, all right? And then guess what? You done already took the first step in building your confidence. You're ready to grow to the next level, all right? So my name is Queen A. I'm out. And if don't nobody else love you, you already know Queen A does. Later. Mwah.